XTV are here at the 62nd Annual London BFI Film Festival. The event is held in the city every year to celebrate not only UK cinema, but cinema from across the globe. Over its 62 years, the festival has had to change and adapt to the way films are made and viewed. And this year, it's had to adapt to massive changes in the industry. Whether it's the structural upheaval in the wake of the sexual harassment scandal and treatment of women, or the digital revolution in the age of Netflix and other online streaming services. We're here to find out just how the festival is changing and adapting, whilst also enjoying some of the treats the festival has to offer. We're here at Picture House Central to see some of the films the festival has to offer, including Christine Cho's Nancy, the French comedy film Non-Fiction, and attending a special preview of the latest BBC adaptation of John le Carré's Little Drummer Girl. But before that, we've got an XTV exclusive interview with renowned film journalist Anna Smith. So first of all, I just wanted to ask how you're finding the film festival this year. Is it different at all to other years, or what are you enjoying particularly?
I am enjoying it very much. It's slightly different because Trish is in charge this year.
Yeah.
Tuttle, and she's acting artistic director, so I think everyone puts their own stamp on it. And I'm so impressed with the amount of female directors they have. That's something that's very close to my heart.
Cannes earlier has been criticised for a lack of female directors. Do you think that the BFI Festival, or the London Film Festival with the BFI having its own film fund and having a hand in production, has a sort of special place or an ability to aid female directors and sort of minority background directors more so than other festivals?
I don't know that it's in a better place to do so, but it's doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you're right, it does have an interest in films and strong knowledge, and everyone who's programming is very involved. But just generally, I'm just so impressed that they've made a special effort, which, as you say, we haven't seen with Cannes like.
Yes. So we also wanted to ask, what was your favourite thing about the London Film Festival specifically, over other film festivals you may have visited?
I don't have to get on the plane. That's good. But also there's a great atmosphere, and people have access. Anyone can buy a ticket, so anyone can have access. It's really helpful. It's very inclusive. I think the lineup is generally pretty strong. It's a nice mix of art house and very accessible, more commercial film.
Okay, great. And so we also have an interest in looking at sort of distribution and things like that. So what do you think is the role of film festivals, either the London Film Festival or film festivals generally, in distributing cinema that maybe wouldn't be seen as much in other places?
The shame of it is sometimes you see films and festivals that never ever get distribution, but then other ones get picked up, which is obviously amazing. So it's hugely important. Anyone making an independent film really desperately needs film festivals in order to get the film out there and get it bought.
Yeah. And obviously you've been working in the film industry and sort of been at the top for quite a while. So we wondered if you'd seen any changes in the way, obviously, with streaming and online things. Has that changed the role of the festival or distribution generally?
I think there's always the question mark over Netflix and streaming films, and do you include them? Do you not? Are they eligible for awards if they're not in a cinema and all that kind of thing? So that's definitely a big change. And since I've been writing about film, social media's happened, so that's obviously changed everything. Yeah. But that's also made film be more accessible to people.
Okay, and do you then think that's a positive influence on independent cinema, or?
Social media and streaming are like anything, it's a mixture of good and bad.
Yeah. Okay. Is there also, we're wondering if there's any particular films that you're excited to see, or ones you've seen so far that you're raving about?
I can't wait to see The Favourite, which is amazing, Olivia Colman, and it's the director of The Lobster, which I loved. But my favourite film so far, on a more commercial side, is called Breaker Upperers. It's a New Zealand comedy about two women who decide to start a business breaking up couples. So it's like lazy people who just decide to use them to break up their partner. It's really funny. It's directed by two women. It's starring two women. I interviewed one of them last night. She's absolutely new, and I would recommend it to anyone. Okay, great. That's good to hear. We also wanted to ask, building on having female directors here, have you, particularly in the wake of the sort of upheaval since the Me Too campaign and everything that's come out of that, have you seen
personally a change in industry trends or in people in positions of power?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to be a female film critic.
Yeah.
Finally, do you know what? I think people are suddenly going, actually, we need a woman for this, we need a woman for that, and hopefully it's not just token. Hopefully it's not just going to, last for this year. But in terms of the way men treat women, like anyone could say that in the street. I think it's filtered down, I hope, to everyone. And certainly a lot of actresses I interview say that things are more open to them now in terms of more complex roles, and female directors are getting more of a hearing, getting into the meeting room, so it's exciting times.
Okay, great. We also wanted to ask, is there any advice you would give to sort of aspiring film critics or journalists? I know you've worked in the sort of dance music industry as well, so any sort of journalist in the arts or film specifically?
Yeah, I'll train.
Yep.
So I went to journalism school. I think that was probably really good steps. Be prepared to work incredibly hard for not much money, but always ask for money. Don't work for free beyond student newspapers and such like. That's really important to me because I think it undermines everyone in the industry if people work for free for too long. So ask for money, work really hard, network, be incredibly reliable and on time.
So that's what Anna Smith had to say. We'd now like to review a few of the films XTV had the opportunity to see at this year's London BFI Film Festival.
Christine Cho's directorial debut, Nancy, tells the story of a troubled woman who claims the identity of a kidnapped child 30 years previously. The film boasts an exceptional cast including Anne Dowd, Andrea Riseborough and Steve Buscemi. Taking the titular role of Nancy, Riseborough creates a nuanced and complex woman who remains impenetrable yet fascinating. Any narrative that does take place throughout the film takes place visually, and the minimalist score plays into this favour here, forcing attention to every detail on the facial expressions of the actors. The refusal to directly explain a lot of the answers to the questions the film poses would suggest that to the characters, the answers don't necessarily matter. We have to appreciate what we have now, that's all that matters, stated by a lead character in the film. Directed and produced by women, and with a majority female cast, Nancy offers us a story about motherhood, care, and its place within female identity. If you enjoy unsettling, nuanced and detailed stories that challenge their audience, making them leave the theatre with more questions than they walked in with, then Nancy's the film for you. Won't You Be My Neighbour offers a behind-the-scenes look at Mr. Rogers' Neighbourhood, a popular American TV children's show spanning decades. Directed and produced by Morgan Neville, it portrays a kind and worthy man, whilst also showing the importance of media in the case of educating and the development and lives of our children. It's a warm welcome to those new to Mr. Rogers, and a welcome back to the neighbourhood for those familiar with him and his work. One failing of the documentary is its reluctance to critique Rogers at any stage. Co-star Francis Clemens recounts that Rogers said he would fire him if he openly came out as gay. This is quickly resolved by saying that Rogers eventually came round. However, it remains a little unsatisfying. Rogers' Christianity and Republican values are also never questioned, and in a documentary that celebrates the minority representation on the show, it seems a bit offish to ignore these values. The film is a reminder of the power of media over our children and presents Rogers' own critique of violent and disturbing children's television in a refreshing manner, especially in a digital streaming age where children have access to anything they want at such a malleable age. The emotive documentary leaves us with a warm, fuzzy feeling that a lot of the harder-hitting cinema at the BFI doesn't offer, and reminds us that what we see and hear on television becomes part of who and what we are. Maybe Won't You Be My Neighbour offers a reminder of the importance of being part of Mr. Rogers' kind and compassionate neighbourhood. Alfonso Cuarón's latest maverick work, Roma, centres on an upper-middle-class family in Mexico in the 1970s. Told through the eyes of their maid Cleo, the disintegration of the family represents the social and political turmoil of the time. However, with stressed relations between the US and Mexico today, the film obviously functions outside of its 1970s setting. It's Cuarón's most personal film to date, but also his most accomplished. And acting as his own cinematographer and editor, Cuarón achieves some of the most striking and complex imagery in recent memory. The complex sound design is more than capable of conjuring up the film's environment, and the surround sound places the viewer right into the centre of the scene. Cuarón's direction is more restrained than usual, but all the more effective for it. The film was also packed with treats for the cinephile among you, referencing everything from Ozu to Fellini. The film navigates a delicate tonal dance between outstanding visual humour, penetrating social drama and harrowing trauma. Cuarón and his phenomenal cast have not only created what is the best film of his career, but one of the best cinematic experiences in recent memory. The great shame is that more people won't get the full cinematic experience with the film due to be released on Netflix. However, one can take solace in the fact that this genuine masterpiece will be distributed to a far wider audience. Little Drummer Girl, the BBC's latest John le Carré adaptation, is dripping with style. When transitioning from film to TV, many directors lose aspects of their work. Park Chan-wook is certainly not one of them. The first episode opens with a nail-biting, tense set-piece narrated by Chan-wook's camera. This set-piece draws you into the dangerous and complex world of this enthralling spy thriller. Florence Pugh shines in the central role of Charlie, a struggling actress who gets drawn into an operation run by Israeli special forces trying to bring down a Palestinian terrorist ring. But it's Michael Shannon who steals the show as the head Israeli agent. Despite the fact that the narrative focuses on some really serious issues, he never fails to get in some great laughs. Alexander Skarsgård has the hardest job of the cast. Lurking in the shadows, Skarsgård is the physical embodiment of the show's intrigue. Weaving between a number of identities, Skarsgård keeps you guessing at every turn, whilst allowing brief moments of his true character to come through. Park Chan-wook is the perfect director for this material. He brings the narrative structure and balance of The Handmaiden and combines it with the darker nature of his Vengeance trilogy. He's supported by an intelligent script full of subtle wry dialogue. The first 2 episodes have a huge amount of narrative backstory to set up, but the perfect combination of script and direction never ceases to lose momentum. Based on the first 2 episodes, Little Drummer Girl is firing tremendously on all cylinders. So that was just a brief snapshot of a few of the things that XTV has been up to at this year's BFI London Film Festival. It's just a shame we couldn't fit more in. See you next year.